local permit shall be obtained prior to the start of construction.
In there, can I have all other necessary state? Because some of them are going to be necessary after construction. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we want the ones that are necessary prior,
Yep, that's fine.
and then we're going to want the ones later on that they're going to have to get for their as-built, correct?
And the final one that I had, but then I want to offer two other things for discussion. 5, the variance decision shall be recorded in the Worcester District Registry of Deeds prior to applying for a driveway or building permit.
Right.
But then I think the two other items that came up this evening were, does the board want to require construction fencing around the site, or at least along the sides of the driveway?
I, for one, would like it. Because I think kids, when they do see
This is just construction.
some work on a site,
Just for
is tempted to
construction,
see what's going on during construction.
during construction.
Yep.
And do you want that just along the driveway sides on the, along the edges of 148 and 146 Cedar Street, up the side property line?
That,
Yeah.
yeah, that I think.
46,
148.
146 and 148.
146 and
Yeah.
148.
Okay,
That's reasonable.
Yeah,
all right.
that's good.
And then the final issue that came up this evening was the request by Mr. Mansur that a 6-foot vinyl fence be installed along the property line along the driveway between 148 and Lot C.
That's up to the neighbors when they move in.
How long would that be? How long would that fence be?
I don't know.
That property line along 148 is 250 feet.
I don't think that should be one of our conditions.
No, this is.
I don't see it as being, I see it as,
No, this is a permanent fence. We voted.
Oh, I
do
think,
it
no, I don't want the
No.
permit, no, I think.
No.
you might be able to do it not as long.
No, I don't think after construction that it should be a permanent fence.
I don't think this should be permanent after
No.
construction.
No, just construction
That's
fence.
what I
Just
said, it's
construction
just a
fence.
Yeah,
construction
but we're not,
fence.
yeah, we're not,
Okay.
not looking to do
No, that's,
No,
6-foot vinyl fence. That's reasonable.
Question
saying a construction.
Construction.
regarding,
That's specified.
back to the, per the plan, clearing limits, if that house footprint changes a little bit, like it's an L instead of a box, but the clearing limits are still going to be what we're saying, does that have to come back for review?
Of course.
Well, any change in the footprint would,
Well,
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the variance is supposed to be as per the plan submitted.
Yeah, so it would have to be for any change in footprint.
So we'd have to come back to the board.
Yes. I think they just, if they vote to approve with these conditions, they just gave the ability to deviate no more than 15 feet after notice to the planning department for the footprint only, not for the driveway.
Right.
I have one question, while we're talking about conditions, and I know this has been looked at by the DPW and all that, but I just can't get it off my head. So I'm just going to ask, right? So I look at that drop, and it's a straight line going on to Cedar Street, and I'm wondering, is it possible to introduce something, so it's not a straight line, maybe it goes up, and then, so that kind of slows the traffic coming down that road, or create some kind of buffer if something happens. You don't have it going right down onto Cedar. Just
are you talking about cars or water?
both, everything coming down that road. So I'm wondering, so just like how you had with when you have on the other plan where you have it coming down on Westwood,
Yeah.
where it goes down, and then you have that.
Curve.
You have that curve at the end, So, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, is there a way to introduce, even if it's not a curve, if it's just a slight angle somewhere that kind of slows things down or breaks it up.
I think that would probably be, the way it is right now, I think might give it more visibility than putting it at an angle. When you get to the bottom of that driveway, you'd have visibility going both ways. If you had it at an angle, then you're gonna have clear view on one side, and then you'd be looking over your shoulder the other way. Am I wrong?
Can I just show you there? I'll just show you what I'm talking about, just. So right now you have this going like this, and then coming down straight, right? So I was kind of wondering if we had it going like this, and then, so that you have an angle somewhere in there, it's going
I see
in,
what
going in
you're
like
saying.
that. and
Yeah,
then
right,
down straight.
yeah.
And Just kind of pushing this down
I see
here.
what he's
I see what
saying.
he's
Yeah.
saying now. I thought he
Yeah.
was saying at the
you're
end.
saying.
Yeah.
Slow it
I
down.
understand that.
I don't see why not. How, I guess if it needs to be built per plan, how do we,
Well, there again.
how do we change the plan then?
I was just gonna say, is that something, if they find they have to, they'll still have to come back for
Is
review,
a-
isn't that
Is a
correct?
plan change or like an administrative approval for the board? Or does it have to come back to a public hearing?
Right. I mean, you could incorporate as a condition that they could evaluate options for putting that, I don't even know how you'd word it, curve in the driveway. But that's kind of like a reverse of the house potentially, so it's going to change the footprint as well. So I mean, if you want to give the ability to make that
Move
deviation,
that angle. it
provided
all
they
goes-
stay in the limits of clearing as shown on the plan.
To slow it down.
You're gonna have the driveway go straight to the front door instead of to the garage.
That's why they'd have to
They'd
change
have
the
to change
footprint of
the
the
footprint.
house.
So-
Further down.
Right.
Further down, yeah, they can't.
I mean, if you can
If they
word
could
it,
do that
word
one
it
part there,
somehow,
slow it
Jane.
down.
Yeah,
Well,
think of
Fidelis
wording that
pointed it
way.
out.
I think that's a good idea.
I do too. That's a way to slow it down. So that would have to come back for review too, Jim?
No, wait a minute.
No, if she
No,
can,
maybe
if
we
she's
should
gonna
do
word
some
it
of
so
it
that
in
it's
such a way
after.
that it would mediate.
Right.
Yeah,
She's gonna word it so it doesn't have to. come
right,
back.
that's good. See, I think
Just a comment in general about driveway construction, and I'm not a paving company, never have been, but if the driveway is properly crowned by the paving company, and you have the proper culverts on the side of the driveway, and the proper amount of trap rock and so on and so forth, it's probably going to work okay. But I have in my lifetime seen people do a horrible paving job, so the water does not pitch to the sides, it just comes sheeting right down. So it's really incumbent on the quality of the work that's being done by the contractor in terms of if you screw up the driveway, you're going to have a waterfall. And I've seen that. I'm sure everybody here has probably seen something like that somewhere at some point. So it seems like if it is, the job is done properly, you should be okay. And that's just a comment.
Yeah, doing any, I mean, not that we can't do it, any kind of bends in that driveway, at least in this section, would need more clearing, you know, which we don't necessarily want to do.
Just a thought.
So I've got it all, except I don't know how to compensate for the additional clearing that would be needed on that side. You could insert something such as, the applicant shall investigate options to implement traffic calming measures on the driveway. If that can be achieved, the footprint of the home may change to accommodate this change, provided the limits of clearing shall not deviate by 15 feet in any direction around the shown limits. But I don't know if that gives you enough on that corner over there.
Right.
He doesn't have to do that.
Well, it says shall
an
investigate
option.
options.
If he can,
If it's,
if he can do it.
Right, well, it says he shall investigate options to
Well,
implement
shall
traffic
means
calming.
it's-
Investigate
it has-
options.
yeah.
Doesn't mean
It's
he
not
has to.
Has to
made.
do it.
It's
If
not
it can be
made.
done,
No, it's shall.
No, I
And
said,
But then, to stay within that no greater than a 15-foot deviation, I don't know if that will work on that
The
back
corner.
corner by 168. Because if you're asking for a curve, there may need to be more clearing than 15 feet.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think shall investigate is fine because it's going to be in the homeowner's best interest and in the public best interest as well. So I think it's a win-win for everyone if it's possible. You know, if it's not possible, then it's not possible.
But I think it shoots the limits of clearing a little bit off because I don't know that 15 feet if
Yeah.
we can accomplish that.
Yeah.
Or if you can say, you know, the revised alternative to be reviewed and approved at the next meeting, but you've closed the hearing, you're rendering a decision. So I think it has to be shall investigate, and then, you know, what extent of change of limit of clearing, or even maybe it changes the footprint of the home to, you know, as Pete was just saying.
but didn't it talk about in our paperwork, the driveway and what he was gonna have on the side of the driveway for,
Yes.
water absorption and all that?
Yes, so that's not what I'm talking about changing. That's obviously going to stay the same. You've got kind of a limited area. But it's up from, Pete, could you point to that area where you'd have to make the curve?
Yeah, if we
Right there.
came in
Make
further
more of
up, I guess.
Curve and,
I mean, Pete, do you think you can do that within a 15-foot deviation?
So that driveway, the driveway in these two trenches is 18 feet, so
that's quite,
that would be probably 15 feet would probably be enough.
So you could always say, shall not deviate by more than 15 feet around shown limits of clearing. Any further deviation shall require approval of the board. And you're opening that up to
Yeah,
a new public
yeah.
hearing, just to change the layout.
you can limit it to
I don't
10
know
or
if you want to
15
do
feet.
that.
just leave it to
If he
everybody
can do
the way
it-
is. But he
But the way
doesn't
it's
think-
worded now is if he can do it, he should. Shall.
Shall investigate options, and if the options will work, then yes, shall, you know, implement that.
Yeah,
And if he cannot,
And he sticks
he
with the
does.
plan that
Then he
is
just,
here.
then you just
then he
do
uses
that.
that.
Yeah.
Right, so
Okay.
is that acceptable?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
within the 15, with 15
15 feet,
feet max,
yeah.
yeah.
15-foot deviation.
If he can't do it, he just does what
No
he,
problem with that.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Right, so
Okay, so, ready for the,
that's all the
All
ready?
right,
conditions.
That's,
is that all
that's
the
all the
conditions?
conditions?
Unless somebody else has anything.
No? Nope.
Okay.
Make a motion to grant the variance in reference to section 300-15.3 for the property on 25 Westwood Drive, to allow the use of Cedar Street frontage as the legal frontage and construct a driveway with the following conditions that Jean just read to us all. Whether they're six, seven, there's six,
2, 3,
7 now, I think.
4,
7.
6,
seven,
7, 8, if you
8
count the
now.
construction fence.
8, okay. With the 8,
You might want
Conditions.
to give us all a copy of that for our permanent record, Jane.
Pardon?
You might want to send us all a copy of those conditions for our future use. in
Final
case.
decision? Sure.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Adele, a second discussion.
No discussion.
All those in favor of the conditions?
No,
That's
the
a
grant,
variance.
the grant of the variance.
Grant
the
the
variance.
variance.
With the
With
conditions.
the conditions.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, that was unanimous.
Diane.
Hey, thank
you.
you. Good luck.
We're done.
I've got worse ones.
Oh, we're not done yet.
Well, this isn't some of the worst that we've had, believe me.
Oh, I believe it.
You ready?
He's back, he can do my
That's
vote.
when we came back.
Just
and
old
come back
business or
and
new
come back.
business?
Yeah.
You have a nice note?
Have a good night.
Good night.
Next meeting? Just say how- Next meeting is,
All right, so it's unanimous.
next meeting.
We couldn't sleep out here. Couldn't you have
Would you
Next
take a
meeting-
nap in there while
Next
we were
meeting,
working?
September 21st, do we have anything?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
sent off a pizza?
Motion to
They-
adjourn.
Any old business?
Any old business or new business?
business, anything new going on, any old?
I make a motion to adjourn?
So moved. All those in favor?